Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Generic Live Show. This is the Generic Live Show for Sunday, the 13th of November, 2016, and we're going to begin in 3, 2, 1.
Thank you very much. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. Complicated. Thank you very much. Hillary has worked very long and very hard over a long period of time, and we owe her a major debt of gratitude for her service to our country. I mean that very sincerely. Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division. We have to get together. To all Republicans and Democrats and independents across this nation, I say it is time for us to come together as one united people.
Welcome to your Generic Live Show. This is the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell.
Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe this next sentence is coming out of my mouth. That right there was President-elect Donald Trump. Can we just listen to the jaunty intro more? Can we just listen to that? Yes, that's right. Donald Trump is the president-elect of the United States of America. That was a bit there of his victory speech there. We will break it down for you. There's a lot to break down that has happened in the last week. The US election, there is some stuff going on here locally, politically. I do apologize if it does sound like I've had the wind kicked out of me, because this week really has, I probably would say, the toughest week, I think, ever for me as an observer, I wouldn't say I'm a professional observer of news, a very casual observer of news. This week has been a very difficult week for me to try and ascertain what has happened. And, of course, and I know we're called the Generic Live Show, and I know we kind of talk about the things that everyone else is talking about. That's half of the appeal of this show, is to basically bring news that you already know to the forefront and to break it down in simple terms. But even as an casual observer of news, this week has really, really pushed my patience. And I do have to say this right off the top of the bat, and we'll get to everything, don't worry, this show it's pretty much going to be 2 hours of the Trump show. I'm not going to lie, the Trump-Hillary show, still covering the US election, because it's still made huge news. And if you want to see not only CJ Boat from the Geeko Network and myself kind of break down as this was happening live, we covered it live. Just go back a couple of videos on this channel, on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Generic Live Show, to see our reaction as some of this was coming in. This just was not predicted to happen. Now, I understand some of the outrage. I don't understand some of the other outrage. I'm kind of onto two sides of the argument, and I know that's kind of ridiculous. Excuse me, ridiculous to be on. How can you be on both sides of the argument there? But it's easy to do because as a moderate person who doesn't, who just recently started being affiliated with a political party, issues is what matters most to me. Now, that side of things, I can understand how people are getting upset. What I don't understand is everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket. I don't understand that point of view. I really don't, and I really doubt that it will, because lots of things will be having to be taken out of. A lot of work would have to be put in to kind of undergo a lot of these rights, and particularly, as a person of an LGBTQ member and also having a partner of that same community, I'm not threatened by my rights. Well, I don't have any here, but I'm not worried about the US's LGBT rights being taken away, because we are in 2016, and as far as I'm aware, again, like I said, a lot of work would have to go in to undoing a lot of that work, and I don't think that I don't think that Donald Trump's or Donald Trump's team, excuse me, I'm don't know what difficulties here, are able or are that vindictive to take away said rights. I don't think that is legitimately possible at this point in time. We're going to. There's a lot that's happened even since that. It was on Wednesday that happened. Of course, we've had lots of things that have happened. We've had President Obama come out. We've had Hillary Clinton come out to concede. We've, of course, had Donald Trump come out in victory. Here are some. Well, we're gonna break down covering this election in new areas is a little tricky. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play the prominent people. Then we're gonna cover some of the other results from the election, which I think has been buried. Some of these buried leads, as I like to call them, coming into the first hour here. So here is more on of Donald Trump's victory speech, if you will, from Wednesday morning.
Who love their country and want of hardworking, but rather an incredible and great movement made up of millions of hardworking men and women who love their country and want a better, brighter future for themselves and for their family. It's a movement comprised of Americans from all races, religions, backgrounds, and beliefs who want and expect our government to serve the people, and serve the people it will.
That is Donald Trump Wednesday morning announcing his victory of gaining the presidency of becoming the president-elect of the United States. Here's more.
Has been among my greatest honors. Our veterans are incredible people. We will embark upon a project of national growth and renewal. I will harness the creative talents of our people, and we will call upon the best and brightest to leverage their tremendous talent for the benefit of all. It's going to happen. We have a great economic plan. We will double our growth and have the strongest economy anywhere in the world. At the same time, we will get along with all other nations, willing to.
Oh, sorry, that cut off there. This is going to the other side now. Here is Hillary Clinton's full concession speech. On the flip side of it, as well, here is Hillary Clinton.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Very rowdy group. So very much for being here. And I love you all too. Last night, I congratulated Donald Trump and offered to work with him on behalf of our country. I hope that he will be a successful president for all Americans. This is not the outcome we wanted or we worked so hard for, and I'm sorry that we did not win this election for the values we share and the vision we hold for our country. But I feel pride and gratitude for this wonderful campaign that we built together. This vast, diverse, creative, unruly, energized campaign. You represent the best of America, and being your candidate has been one of the greatest honors of my life.
That is Hillary Clinton's secession speech. Here is President Obama, the last bit of audio that we'll play here in reaction to the election. Here is Barack Obama. Alongside him is Vice President Joe Biden.
Some of you may have seen, which I said to the American people, regardless of which side you were on in the election, regardless of whether your candidate won or lost, the sun would come up in the morning. And that is one bit of prognosticating that actually came true. The sun is up. And I know everybody had a long night. I did as well. I had a chance to talk to President-elect Trump last night, about 3:30 in the morning, I think it was, to congratulate election. And I had a chance to invite him to come to the White House tomorrow to talk about making sure that there is a successful transition between our presidencies.
That is President Obama talking about President-elect Trump's win. Now, again, like I said, doing this show today is a little, trying to find new ground is a little difficult, of course, but looking at the electoral map as it stands right now, Mr. President-elect Trump, I have to get used to saying that, President-elect Trump currently has 290 electoral votes, with Mrs. Clinton having 228. There are still two states that are yet to be called. They won't make any difference, but they're still the final. These aren't final totals. Recounts are taking place in New Hampshire and Michigan, of all places, where Michigan shows a narrow Trump lead by less than 10,000 votes, and in New Hampshire shows a slight Clinton lead by about 3,000 votes. Let's look at that Michigan one again. Yeah, about 10,000 vote lead in Michigan and about a 3,000 vote lead to Mrs. Clinton in New Hampshire as well. Looking at the Senate, the Republicans won across the board. They have the House, the Senate, and the White House. They have a narrow majority in the U.S. Senate and a large majority in the House of Representatives, of Congress. That's the one I was thinking of. In the US as well. After our break, we're going to get to some of the. Actually, you know what? We'll get to them. We'll get to them at the bottom of the hour, because the bottom of the hour, because that'll give us more time. Some of these ballot measures, the buried leads in this election coverage, because I do want to give these the proper time that they deserve. To be fleshed out, and they kind of have the you know, they deserve to be fleshed out the way that they do. I want to see some of this. isn't loading. Why is this not? I had something queued up, and now I don't have it queued up. Why is this not queued up? Anyway, we'll get back to that. But I wanted to play. There was a kind of a montage. See if I can find it on.
First, we create the beat.
Not official sponsors.
Hillary called you.
Just imagine how many more automobiles will be lost.
Whoa! Again, I did not ask you to speak. Gee, Trump is invoking on the show already. Okay, so what was I doing? So I'll find that montage of political figures in the after the break, and then get to some of these ballot measures. Like I said, in this election, post-election coverage, they're important. Trust me, some of these are down on the state level, but we'll get to those in a moment. Here, Donald Trump's first interview on 60 Minutes. President-elect Trump has decided to do a 60-minute interviews. Here's what we can look forward to, I suppose, is one thing to say. So here is a sneak preview.
Tell us about that phone call.
So Hillary called, and it was a lovely call, and it was a tough call for her. I mean, I can imagine. Tougher for her than it would have been for me, and for me it would have been very, very difficult. She'd have been nicer. She just said, "Congratulations, Donald. Well done." And I said, "I want to thank you very much. You were a great competitor." She's very strong and very smart. Clinton's only loyalty, financial contributors, and to herself. I don't even think she's loyal to Bill. You want to know the truth?
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
She's got tremendous hatred. And this country cannot take another 4 years of Barack Obama. And that's what you're getting with her. America first. That begins.
Those were clips from the campaign, by the way. This is on Obamacare.
With immediately repealing and replacing the disaster known as Obamacare.
When you replace it, are you going to make sure that people with preconditions are still covered?
Yes, because it happens to be one of the strongest assets.
You're going to keep that?
Also, with the children living with their parents for an extended period, you're
going to keep
very
that?
much try and keep that. Adds cost, but it's very much something we're going to try and keep.
And there's going to be a period, if you repeal it and before you replace it, when millions of people could lose.
We're going to do it simultaneously. It'll be just fine. That's what I do. I do a good job. I know how to do this stuff. We're going to repeal it and replace it. And we're not going to have like a 2-day period, and we're not going to have a 2-year period where there's nothing. It will be repealed and replaced, and we'll know. And it'll be great health care for much less money.
That is a preview of what we can expect on 60 Minutes. That 60-minute interview comes out tomorrow. That'll come out tomorrow at around, I want to say 10 o'clock my time, at 10 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday on CBS. Yes, correct. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell. Thanks for joining us here on a Sunday. Prominent Australian political heads react to Donald Trump and how The Simpsons called this in the year 2 of all things. Thanks for joining us as we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday with Dale Campbell. Thanks for joining us. It's 10:20.
New horizons. Discover what it really means to be free. Where would you?
Without this advertisement.
This Geek IO Podcast Network program is sponsored by Audible. They're the leaders in digital audiobooks on the internet. 100,000 titles across all types of literature, including fiction, non-fiction, and periodicals. Try audible.com now and get your first 30 days of Audible Listener Gold membership plan for free. That's right, free, which includes 1 audiobook credit per month. After your 30-day trial, your membership will renew for just $14.95 per month, so you can continue to receive your audiobook credit per month, plus members-only discounts on all audio purchases. If audiobooks aren't quite your thing, well that's okay. Audible also have a variety of radio and TV programs and audio versions of magazines and newspapers. There's something for everyone. Check out geek-io.net/audible for all of the details. And we thank Audible for their support of the Geek IO Podcast Network. This Geek IO Podcast Network is proudly sponsored by Think Geek. Think Geek is the biggest online retailer of all things geeky. That's right, everything geeky. And they stock the biggest brands in geekiness like Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Minecraft, Legend of Zelda, Marvel, Game of Thrones, DC Comic, and Geek Labs. And they sell a whole bunch of things like collectibles, electronics and gadgets, t-shirts and apparel, gifts. They sell it all over at Think Geek. And they have free shipping on orders over $75 or a flat $6.95 US standard shipping to all places in the US. So when you're ready to check out the range over at Think Geek, the superstore, just use our link to go over to Think Geek over at geek-io.net/thinkgeek. That gives us a little bit of a kickback on what you buy. Don't worry, we're not stealing your shoe size or asking you for a blood sample. It's okay. We're only getting a kickback from what you buy. We don't actually see what you buy from Think Geek. Join in, geek out, Think Geek. We thank Think Geek for their support of the Geek IO Podcast Network.
I'm flying high, but I got a feeling I'm falling for nobody else but you. You caught my eye, and I got a feeling I'm falling. Show me the ring.
You finally found the most generic live show. This is the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell.
Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday with Dale Campbell. Pleasure to be here, as always, as we continue our coverage of the week's events. Now, The Simpsons, you know what? Cartoons in general are getting really, really good with predicting the future. And this one, unfortunately, is yet another case of that. The Simpsons, in the year 2000, got this right, called a Donald Trump presidency. Have a listen.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
We're broke.
We will do a great job. I look very much forward to being your president.
What can we do to keep one group of people away from another group of people? We'll build a fence.
Fence, fence, fence! We will build a wall. It will be a great wall. It will do what it's supposed to do. Keep illegal immigrants out.
Sure is quiet around here.
Will you miss us? Yeah, we miss you.
That's why we build a door.
I certainly hope. I certainly hope that that next part is definitely true. I hope that they to build a door in the wall so they can hold parties. That's actually quite funny. That second clip there, that's the wall, is from 2000 and is from 2009 actually. So that's actually, yeah. I'm surprised for that too. Although they called it a fence. There you go. Although apparently Donald Trump has been backing down on that one as well. I know this is meant to be the happy segment. I know this is meant to be the clip of the week, and I know this is meant to be. And I just, like I said at the top of the show, I just feel like this week, and even with all the other news that we'll get to later on in the hour, I just feel like that I've had the wind. It just doesn't feel right. But that was actually one thing this week, was that the Simpsons called would be elected in an episode in the year 2000. That is 16 years ago. Even the wall thing from 2009. It's kind of impressive for the writers of The Simpsons. With that, see, this stuff does in fact write itself, people. So there you go. We're gonna take quite an early break here because I do have quite a lot to. We're going to talk about what I like to call the buried leads of this election cycle coverage. Like I said in the first segment of the show, finding new ground to cover in amongst all of these election coverage is a little difficult, but I feel like going through the ballot measures is probably a good start. But first, our friends at Australian Gold and Collectibles are coming to town. They are wanting to buy your silver, gold, and collectible items. Anything from gold nuggets, broken bracelets, broken necklaces, broken rings, snapped gold and silver, and maybe that piece that you just don't like anymore. That, and in conjunction with some collectible items, including NRL, AFL football records, cards, badges, cards, anything from sport collectibles to stamps, banknotes, and tokens. I want to remind you, though, that Australian Gold and Collectibles are a little bit picky with what they buy, but they give fair offers to their clients that do give them high quality stuff. They do pay well with on the spot settlement. The choice is entirely up to you. They are fully licensed, an ABN and a second-hand dealer number. In Queensland, their dealer number is 3973976. They're coming to the Brothers Leagues Club, which is located on 99 to 105 Anderson Street in Manada. They will be there from Tuesday. They'll be there Tuesday, the 15th November, to 2 p.m. Go see them. They're Australian Gold and Collectibles. If you have any more questions in regards to the wanting to buy campaign, you can give them a call on 0393579996 or send them an email at inquiries@agc.melbourne. That again is Australian Gold and Collectibles coming to the Brothers Leagues Club at 99 to 105 Anderson Street in Manunda, Cairns on Tuesday the 15th of November. That's this Tuesday from 2 p.m. buying your valuable gold, silver, and collectible items. Again, fully credited second-hand dealer 3973976. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show, we're going to go through all of these ballot measures and tell you where they stand. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday with Dale Campbell. It's 10:30.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Fine listener of this program. You can help us become more than what we already are. I know. It's a revolution. Hold on to your butts because I'm about to give you a URL address that could change our lives. Not really, but it would help us out tremendously if you went over to geek-io.net/support so we could do a lot more than what we're actually doing now. That has a lot of links on it where you can help us out monthly through Patreon at our Patreon site at patreon.com/geekio, or you can help us out once off by supporting those who support us. But then you can become the ones who support us, who support you, who support us. It's supportception. To continue this supportception, it's in your hands. Go to geek-io.net/support This podcast is proudly brought to you by keep you. this ever long
That's right.
cycle of support
over at patreon.com/geekio, where you can help us out with a small monthly donation for as little as $1 a month. Do you know anything that you can buy for $1 a month? I don't. That's right, though. $1 a month. When there's no terms, there's no conditions. $1 per month to help us out to unlock some really, really cool goals. A goal that I personally want to help unlock is the weekly Mana Pool show. The playthrough of D&D 5th edition. It would be really cool if we could do that weekly. And you can help that happen with as little as $1 per month. That's right, $1. $1. There's nothing you can buy with a buck these days. A buck a month would help us out tremendously. Just head on over to patreon.com/geekio to help us out. You, the listeners, for your support and keeping the lights on here.
Whatever the time of day, whatever the time of the night, we're here to serve you a big dose of genericness with your host, Dale Campbell.
Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday with Dale Campbell. Pleasure to be here as always. Now, we will get back to the coverage of the world event that rocked the nation. No, I'm not talking about Walmart announcing their... Also, that is coming up. That's certainly coming up. But, and by the way, I know, and again, like I said, I feel like I have to keep repeating myself throughout this episode. I do apologize. I am today. This is not going to be a very high energy show because, like I mentioned on the live coverage of the election, this is, of course, not the outcome I certainly wanted or expected. I'm still, and like I said, as a casual observer of news, this is certainly not the election result that I certainly saw coming. And as a casual, the point I was making in the first segment of the show is that as a casual viewer of news, this week certainly has been one of the toughest weeks, I think, ever for me trying to find certain bits of news to particularly cover. Now, in terms of the election, now, again, like I said in that first segment, finding new territory to cover is a little tricky. So what I'm going to do now, because we have a full sort of segment to here to cover, other things that happened in terms of the election. And no, okay, I'm going to talk about this for 2 seconds, and this is probably about it. I'm not going to go in deep detail about the protests that are happening in very liberal states, because liberal states. So there's your answer there before you ask. So that is why I'm not focusing in on that. What I am focusing in on, though, is some of these ballot measures that were voted on as people voted on the presidential and Senate races and some gubernatorial races. People went to the polls and voted on some ballot measures as well. So in Alabama, they voted on impeachments, a proposal that required 2/3 supermajority vote in the Senate for conviction and impeachment of a state official. In Alabama, they voted yes, was that one. Alabama also voted on right to work, a constitutional amendment prohibiting businesses from making rules about union membership. Yes vote. So both yeses there. Alaska, voter registration through PFD application, an act allowing qualified individuals to vote when applying for a permanent fund dividend. Okay, that was, I don't know what that means. If anyone can explain that to me, please do. So I don't know what a PFD is. In Arizona, legalized marijuana establishes a 15% tax on marijuana sales allowed to public health, allocated to public health and education. That was a no vote. Arizona voted no to legalize marijuana, but they did vote yes to increase the minimum wage to $10 in 2017 and gradually to $12 by 2020. Medical Cannabis Act allows medical use of marijuana legal under the state of Arkansas. That was a 4 vote that passed. In California, adult health film regulation, Proposition 60 is a vote requiring the use of condoms in filming of pornographic films, along with requiring pay for certain health procedures. No vote on that one. Gun control measures, Proposition 63 is a vote on banning large capacity in magazines and requiring a background check to purchase ammo. That was a yes vote. Tax increase by $2 per pack is to go to existing healthcare programs. That was a yes vote. Bilingual ed reserves the requirement that public schools ensure students become proficient in English. That was a yes vote. Drug price standards is still California. Prohibits state agencies from buying from a manufacturer at any price over the lowest price paid for the same drug by the US VA. Vote. The death penalty repeal the state death penalty and replace maximum punishment for murder with life in prison. Parole, that was a no vote. And legalized marijuana use. They vote on legalized recreation for persons 21 years or older and taxing it, a yes vote. That's closer to what I thought it was, that one, by the way. The legalized marijuana use is a 56.1% yes and a 43.9% no. So that's interesting. In Colorado, they had some ballot measures there as well. State healthcare system. Amendment 69 is a vote creating Colorado Care, a system designed to provide universal healthcare for the Colorado residents. That was a resounding no vote. Minimum wage to $9.30 in 2017 and $12 by 2020. That was a yes vote. Increased tobacco taxes by $1.75. That was a no vote. Medical aid of dying, Proposition End of Life Options Act, if approved, would legalize the option for assisted death for terminally ill patients who had 6 months or less to live. That was a yes vote. Affiliated voters in presidential primaries. Proposition 108 is a vote allowing unaffiliated voters to vote in primary elections. That was a yes vote. District of Columbia. This one is huge, by the way. This next one in the District of Columbia is huge. Position Congress for statehood. The State Hill referendum asks DC residents whether or not Washington, D.C. City Council should approve the proposal of statehood and subsequently petition Congress for statehood admission. 85.8% yes. No, that was a resounding yes. So D.C. could become a state yet. In Florida, the big one is medical marijuana there. Amendment concerns the legalization of medical marijuana in Florida for people with specific diseases or conditions. That was a resounding yes. Failing schools, Amendment 1 would allow the state to create opportunity school districts to oversee elementary and secondary schools. That was a no. Hawaii's amendment hasn't been officialized yet. Jury trials, civil case amendment to the state's constitution would allow threshold value from 5,000 to 10,000 convey requirement for jury trials in civil cases at common law. That's got a yes lead, so I'm assuming that's going to be a yes. And Idaho agency rules the approval of this measure would constitutionalize the legislature's authority to review, approve, and reject administrative rules. That is a yes vote in Idaho. In Illinois, revenue for transportation, a revenue amendment would ensure that Illinois' transportation funds only be used for its intended purposes. That was a resounding yes. In Indiana, right to hunt of public question 1, original, would add an amendment to Indiana state constitution stating one's right to hunt, fish, and love every day. Sorry, harvest wildlife. That is a yes vote, by the way. If anyone gets that reference, I'm going to be so proud of them. Hunt, fish, and love every day. Please let me know if you do get that reference. Kansas also has the now has the right to hunt and trap wildlife. So they also have the right to hunt, love, and hunt, fish, and love every day. I have to get it in the right order, otherwise, you know, it gets dangerous. Louisiana higher ed management boards authorities higher ed boards to establish the tuition and mandatory fees amounts charged to institutions under their supervision. That is a no. Louisiana. Maine did legalize marijuana, just 52%. Increase minimum wage to $12 an hour by 2020. That is a yes. Expand gun background checks before gun sales and between unlicensed gun dealers. That was a no vote in Maine. That is weird for Maine. In Maryland, Attorney General and Comptroller vacancies requires vacancies for Attorney General and Comptroller officers to reserve political party affiliation. They are for that. In Massachusetts, expand slot machine gambling. That is a no. Schools. That is a nope. And legalize marijuana. That is a yes vote. In Minnesota, pay. Voters decided on to create a bipartisan board to set registers. Yes. Missouri, voter ID. Yes. Montana, expand medical marijuana to repeal on medical marijuana providers. That is a yes. Nebraska got repealed. Expand gun background checks, which also would require firearm transfers to go through a licensed gun dealer for background check. Temporary transfers and transfers between immediate family members would be exception from the measure. That was a narrow yes. And legalize marijuana, also a yes. New Jersey, expanding casinos. New Mexico, for denying bail of certain felons. North Dakota, yes to medical marijuana. Oklahoma is to state in their constitution to guarantee the state power to impose corporal executions such as the death penalty. That was a yes. And funds for religious use. That was a no in Oklahoma. Oregon, wildlife products ban would ban the selling of parts of 12 animals, including cheetah, elephant, jaguar, leopard, lion, ray, rhino, sea turtle, shark, tiger, and whale. That was a yes on the ban of that. Pennsylvania, a yes. Judge British 75. Rhode Island is coming up here. 2 seconds. Okay. To expand ethics, Dakota, the interest rate loophole, the ballot would limit the ability to state statutory investment rates for loans. That was a no. Non-partisan elections, which that's odd. Nope. They voted no anyway. Cap interest rate puts in place a 36% cap on interest rate for short-term loans. Obviously, yes. Campaign finance overhaul, if passed, it would establish a publicly funded campaign system would create an ethics test, and non-union workers' fees subject to fees for their representation. That was a no. In Utah, changes to the state school fund changes the wording and provisions relating to expenditures, distribution, and investment for the school fund. They were for that. Virginia is not a right-to-work state. Washington did want to increase the minimum wage to $13.50 by 2020 and requires employees to provide paid sick leave. That was a yes. Firearms access, authorities, courts to issue extreme risk protection, older workers, and remove individual access to firearms. That was a yes. In Wyoming, leg may invest. Allows the investment of millions more dollars with state funds in stock. That. Now, I think that is definitely the buried lead. There are some important things there. And I thought, you know what, this can't be just covering the election and the presidential side of things. I think some of these measures are huge in a lot of cases. You've got the right to work state stuff in Alabama. You've got the statehood petition in. You've got no to legalizing marijuana in Arizona, the increase in minimum wage in Arizona, and expansions to the failing schools, that sort of stuff. A lot of stuff here that will affect people on the local level. Yeah, they will affect people on the local level, I suppose, in a way. Next, now, what happens next when this passes? Does it pass automatically through? I suppose it has to go through a procedure after this, I would assume. South Dakota one is interesting. I don't know how nonpartisan elections would work. I don't know how that would work. To see in practice, I suppose. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday with Dale Campbell, we have Malcolm Turnbull's response to the outcome of the US presidential election. And the Australians and the US have done something a little bit odd. We'll tell you more as we continue here on the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell. Thanks for joining us. It's good to be here. It's 10:50.
Want a custom computer? Want to run the latest games at the highest graphics with no lag? Want to build a computer that can make and edit movies or videos like them they're professionals? Pugent Systems has your solution. Go to geek-io.net/Pugent to build a brand new custom computer. We'd like to thank Pugent Systems for their support of
This Geek-io
the
podcast
Geek-io
is proudly sponsored by T-Fury. T-Fury is the home of your T-shirt needs. Well, we're all geeks, and we all love wearing T-shirts because, well, society tells us that we can't walk around naked, allegedly.
So we've got you covered. T-Fury is the home of T-shirts with geeky designs from independent artists. What's there not to love? T-shirts, geekiness. Hey, when you're ready to go check out the range, use our affiliate link over at geek-io.net/T-Fury so we can get a little bit of a kickback off any is bought from of T-shirts available at T-Fury. T-Fury, the match made it.
Actually, a T-shirt slogan, although I don't actually know what
This
the
podcast
T-Fury
is proudly
slogan
sponsored by Amazon. Amazon has all of your needs for all occasions. Amazon stocks a large range of its affiliates or sponsors. Pretty much everything. Everything from automotive to baby to computers, payment cards, groceries, health and personal care, and everything for Amazon Kindles, ebooks, movies and television, magazines, office products, and stuff for your patio, lawn, and garden. Hey, they even sell sports goods if you're into sports ball. If you're ready to check out the range at Amazon.com, use geek-io.net/Amazon to help out the Geek-io Podcast Network. We get a little bit of a kickback through our affiliate link there. That's geek-io.net/Amazon. Amazon. Everything for every occasion. Everything for every occasion may not be the official slogan for Amazon. Some products not available in all areas.
This is the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell.
Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday with Dale Campbell. Now, breaking news, a tsunami warning has been issued after a 7.4 earthquake near Christchurch, New Zealand. A 7.4 earthquake strikes near Christchurch in New Zealand. A tsunami warning has been issued. Powerful quake hit just after midnight local time. Strong volts felt more than 200 kilometers away in the capital, Wellington. New Zealand Civil Defence issued a tsunami warning advising residents of the South Island's east coast to seek higher ground. The Civil Defence said it is too early to assess the damage or whether there has been any injuries or deaths. Christchurch is the biggest city on New Zealand's South Island. A 6.3 quake there in February 2011, 185 people, and caused widespread damage. Australian journalists, according to the ABC, Australian journalist Gemma Sheridan, who lived just north of Christchurch, told the ABC the tremor was Geonet at 6.6 woke her up from her sleep. Quote, the extent of this quake was much that woke me out of my sleep, and I thought that someone maybe in my house was moving furniture around or something. Quote, I ran outside with one of my housemates, and we quickly realized what was going on, and the ground was just shook and shook, and it seemed to never ending. We were just sitting there wondering when it would stop, unquote. Snowdon said the situation was scarier than normal. Quote, I've been hearing sirens and alarms going off throughout the city, unquote, she said. Excuse me. Wow. This first show doing it at 10 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock is really taking its toll. Earthquakes are a common occurrence, but this one were particularly long and protracted. That's all we have. Breaking news, according to the ABC, a magnitude 7.4 earthquake strikes Christchurch near New Zealand. that is late breaking news. There's nothing else that's been reported on it so far, so we'll tell you more as we get it. Now, I couldn't find that that montage of Australian politicians reacting to President-elect Trump's victory in the US election on Tuesday, but I found something a little bit better. I found the cream of the crop. I found Malcolm Turnbull's 7:30 interview instead. So we'll enjoy bits of this. Here is the Prime Minister of Australia.
Well, we congratulate Donald Trump on his election win. As I said, President-elect Trump has sought to heal the wounds of the campaign, which, of course, was a very hard-fought one. We offer our good wishes to Secretary Hillary Clinton for her hard-fought campaign as well. But it's notable that despite the bitterness of the campaign and the intensity of it, confronting for many Australians, it's a much more bitter-fought campaign than we are used to. But nonetheless, the first thing President-elect Trump has done, bring Americans together. He's paid tribute to Secretary Clinton to set out how he will govern for all Americans, whether they voted for him or not.
Earlier this year, the former Australian Prime Minister John Howard said he trembled at the thought of Donald Trump becoming the United States president, that there's an instability about him that bothers me. Does it bother you?
As the Australian Prime Minister, my job is to defend Australia's interests and ensure that we work effectively and constructively with the President the United States people elect. And they've elected Donald Trump, and after the 20th of January, he will be the president, and we will have a strong and effective relationship, just as we have with President Obama's and many administrations before that.
Donald Trump has already indicated that he doesn't support some of the traditional foundations of American foreign policy. For example, he won't guarantee coming to Japan's aid in the event of an attack by North Korea. He has raised the prospect of withdrawing from NATO. How can Australia continue to rely on the ANZUS Treaty? Why would we trust that a Donald Trump-led administration would come to Australia's aid should we require it?
The United States will stand by its commitments. The United States administration, the Trump administration, just like the Obama administration, will act in defense of America's enduring national interests. Presidents, congressmen and senators come and go, but the nation's enduring interests continue. And the alliance between Australia and the United States is set in the enduring national interests of both countries. It's in our mutual interest, and will continue to do so through the Trump presidency and the presidencies that follow it.
But given that I just pointed out that he's made it clear that he doesn't necessarily subscribe to the traditional foundations of American foreign policy, what's the source of your confidence there?
Remember, Lee, that during a hard-fought campaign, it's important to remember that great observation another American politician said, which is that he's speaking of American politicians, he said, we campaign, but we govern in prose. Now, whether you regard the debates in this last American campaign as poetry, the fact is that when an administration takes office, when a president takes office, he is confronted of the national interest of the United States, the strategic realities that confront the United States, the importance, the significance of the global prosperity that is underpinned to the rules-based international order, especially, of course, in the Asia Pacific. So
that is we're out of time here. We're hard up on a break here, but that is Malcolm Turnbull talking about Donald Trump's President-elect Donald Trump's reaction there. I think I could not agree more with the Prime Minister there on that point alone. I think it is in the mutual interest. I mean, Trump might negotiate trade deals that might occur. It won't. It might occur. And I think going to the negotiation table is different than kind of scrapping things all to what Trump's point was all throughout the election. I think I can't believe I'm saying this. I could not agree with the Prime Minister more there. There are some things I don't necessarily agree with. I don't agree with the Prime Minister often. I think on there that is a very, very heavy statement to say there on in regards to Mr. Trump. As we continue here on the Jack Live Show on a Sunday, the Australia and America have done something a little odd that we're actually going to have to break down here, because I think this is also another buried lead of the week as we continue here on the Jack Live Show. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday. It's 11:01.
Hey you, yes you, fine listener of this program. You can help us become more than what we already are. I know, it's a revolution, because I'm about to give you a URL address that could change our lives. Not really, but it would help us out tremendously if you went over to geek-io.net/support, so we can do a lot more than what we're actually doing now. That website actually a lot of links on it where you can help us out monthly through Patreon at our Patreon site at patreon.com/geekio, or you can help us out once off by supporting those who support us. But then you can become the ones who support us, who support you, who support us. It's supportception. To continue this supportception, it's in your hands. io.net/support.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by
keep
you.
This ever long cycle of support
over at patreon.com/geekio, where you can help us out with a small monthly donation for as little as $1 a month. Do you know anything that you can buy for $1 a month? I don't. That's right, though. $1 a month. When there's no terms, there's no conditions. $1 per month to help us out to unlock some really, really cool goals. Personally, want to help unlock is the weekly Mana Pool Show, which is a weekly playthrough of D&D 5th edition. It would be really cool if we could do that weekly. And you can help that happen with as little as $1 per month. That's all. $1. $1. There's nothing you can buy with $1 these days. $1 a month would help us out tremendously. Just head on over to patreon.com/geekio to help us out. We thank you. The Geeko Network is sponsored by Tweaked Audio with 7 styles and 7 colors at the show. There are mic'd and not mic'd options available, designed to sound great with music and talk, and engineered for durability. All options come with a lifetime guaranteed and a noise-reducing design, just so you don't get distracted and focus on what matters most. Compatible with all of your devices, even those weird Windows phone no one likes. We have an exciting offer just for our listeners. If you use the coupon code GEEK at checkout, you will receive 1/3 off your order plus free worldwide shipping. tweakedaudio.com to check out their range, and when you're ready to order, remember to use our coupon code GEEK at checkout for 1/3 off, free worldwide shipping, and that lifetime warranty guarantee. Tweaked Audio for their support of the Geek.io network.
Welcome to your Generic Live Show. This is the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell.
Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday with Dale Campbell. So good to be here with you. Now, again, I do apologize if I do sound a little bit flat this week. I feel like there's been some wind taken out of my shoulders this week, because this week has been probably, it's hard to do a high energy show when you've done so much. You've done so much. I read a lot, and reading there's just some real negativity, and I feel like that's coming across in today's show, and I do apologize for that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, this speech sound familiar?
America has elected a new president, and it's almost hard for me to express the honor that I and my family feel that we will have the privilege to serve as your Vice President of the United States of America.
That is Vice President-elect Mike Pence there, introducing Donald Trump. He continues.
And I'm mostly grateful to our president-elect, whose leadership and vision will make America great again. So let me say, it is my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce to you the President-elect of the United States of America, Donald Trump.
That's him going out on stage. You don't need to play all of that. So here are the beginning of Mr. Trump's acceptance speech of the nomination.
Thank you very much. Just received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us, it's about us, on our, and I congratulated her and her family on a very, very hard-fought campaign. I mean, she fought very hard. Hillary has worked very long and very hard over a long period of time, and we owe her a major debt of gratitude for her service to our country.
That is President-elect Donald Trump. That is a terrifying visual right now. Visual on the screen. Actually, go over to YouTube. I'm going to show this on screen. Enjoy that. That look. 30 minutes into President and Chill, and Mr. Trump gives you that look. Just enjoy all of that for what that is, by the way. Just that look. And poor Barron on the side, by the way. I want to point out, poor Barron on the side. That kid's been up. This is at 3 a.m. Eastern time. All this is going on, by the way, that Trump makes this speech. So have in mind that this kid is up, and it's a school night too. It's a Tuesday, it's a Wednesday morning, so it's a school night too. So he should be in bed, but isn't. It's beside Donald Trump up at the podium. So here we're going to play 2 more bits of audio here, and here is Mr. Tim Kaine and Mrs. Hillary Clinton's succession speeches. It's coming up here. So here's the beginning of Mr. Tim Kaine's introducing Mrs. Clinton.
A great history maker in everything she has done as a civil rights lawyer and First Lady of Arkansas and First Lady of this country and Senator and Secretary of State. She has, in a nation that is good at so many things, but that has made it uniquely difficult for a woman to be elected to federal office. She became the first major party nominee as a woman to be president, and last night, one of Americans to be president. We know that the work remains. We know that the dreams of empowering families and children remain. And in that work, that important work that we have to do as a nation, it is so a tough time to know that Hillary Clinton is somebody until her very last breath is going to be battling for the values that make this nation great and the values that we care so deeply about. So now, please join me in welcoming Secretary Hillary Rodham.
That is Mr. Tim Kaine getting emotional about Hillary Clinton's loss. Here are a few remarks. Mrs. Clinton herself.
Thank you, my friends. Thank you. I congratulated Donald Trump and offered to work with him on behalf of our country. I hope that he will be a successful president for all Americans. This is not the outcome we wanted or we worked so hard for, that we did not win this election for the values we share and the vision we hold for our country. But I feel pride and gratitude campaign that we built together. This vast, diverse, creative, unruly, energized campaign. You represent the best of America. It has been one of the greatest honors of my life.
That is Mrs. Hillary Clinton there giving her succession speech. Now, by the way, want to update you on this New Zealand earthquake that has hit. Now, what I'm seeing, the earthquake. My fries are done apparently. My fries are done again. Would you look at that? System sounds. So. The earthquake has been downgraded to a 6.6 from what I am reading. Early reports had it at 7.4. It's now been downgraded to a 6.6. I don't know how that happens, but it does. So this is all in local time, I'm assuming. Aftershocks are happening. Aftershocks are just occurring. So the statement from Civil Defense, the Ministry of Civil Defense and Emergency Management has issued a tsunami warning for all eastern coast of the Northern Islands. There were some reports of people trapped under mine tanks, but they're safe and sound. Okay, so confirmation has just been received that a tsunami has been generated. This is at 7 minutes past the hour, so this is 7 minutes ago. The first tsunami wave activity has been detected in areas. The first wave activity may not be the significant, by the way, so it could continue for some hours. And the threat must be regarded until the warning has been cancelled. So people above areas should, one, stay out of water, stay off beaches and shore areas, don't go sightseeing, share this information with friends, family, and neighbors. Listen to the TV, listen to the radio or TV for updates and follow instructions from the local civil authorities as well. The rolling updates happened live. I won't keep this open. I will keep it saved because that ding is going to annoy it. 6 minutes past the hour, thousands of Central City residents have been evacuated from Wellington. first signs of tsunami waves. There you go. That is live update from New Zealand, confirmed by the secretary, the civil people. Despite ABC's reporting, it is a 6.6 magnitude earthquake that has hit New Zealand. We'll give you more details on that as things develop as well. So more noise about this election campaign, which I would rather talk about an earthquake than this election cycle. That's how depressing this is. Here is President Trump alongside him, who doesn't speak, by the way. Here is President Obama. Standing alongside him is Vice President Biden. Why did I not think of that?
Debating that actually came true. The sun is up, and I know everybody had a long night. I did as well. I had a chance to talk to President-elect Trump last night, about 3:30 in the morning, I think it was, on winning the election, and I had a chance to invite him to come to the White House tomorrow to talk about making sure that there is a successful transition between our presidencies. Now, it is no secret that the president-elect and I have some pretty significant differences. But remember, 8 years ago, President Bush and I had some pretty significant differences. The President Bush's team could not have been more professional or more gracious in making sure we had a smooth transition so that we could hit the ground running.
That is President Obama at the Rose Garden giving his opinion on his full speech on Mr. Trump winning in the Electoral College. Again, important to note that not win the popular vote, he won by the Electoral College. Important to note, Trump, President-elect Trump is at 290, with Mrs. Clinton being at 228. There are still 2 states that have not been called. There are recounts going on in New Hampshire and in Missouri, I want to say. Why is this not loading? Where is my scripts? Can someone give me my damn scripts? Why isn't on this script? That seems like an important thing to do. Thank you, people. Finally getting that to me. One did indeed receive more popular votes by 400,000 rather. About 400 from what I'm saying. There are 2 states that are either too close to call or they are having some recounts. Again, that is Michigan, that is currently leading Trump, but not by much. It's a 0.3% lead to Trump in mid-counts, and in New Hampshire, the pinstone of this, New Hampshire has a 0.3% lead to Mrs. Clinton. It's not going to change the outcome of President-elect Trump, but the outcome is certainly going to be the final results aren't known yet until those 2 states come in, which I think that's going to happen in the next. It's going to have to happen in the next. Indeed, as we continue here on the Genetic Live Show for a Sunday with Dale Campbell. Now, Lennon Cohen. It's unfortunate what happened there. People are paying tribute to him because he passed away, I believed. People are not saying he passed away. Why are people paying? I should know this. We'll figure it out after the break, shall we? Yay! We'll figure out why people are paying tribute to Leonard Cohen after the break. Yeah, he did die, unfortunately. He did die. So he this week, and we will tell you how people are paying tribute as we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. Thanks for 11:21.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by Amazon. Amazon has all of your needs for all occasions. Amazon stocks a large range of pretty much everything. Everything from automotive to baby to computers, payment cards, groceries, health and personal care, and everything Kindles, ebooks, movies and television, magazines, office products, and stuff for your and garden. Hey, they even sell sports goods. If you're into sports ball. If you're ready to check out the range at Amazon.com, use geek-i/Amazon to help out the Geek Ho Podcast Network. We get a little bit of a kickback through our affiliate link there. That's geek-io.net/Amazon. Amazon. Everything for every
What's up, ladies and
occasion.
gentlemen? This is
Everything
JD
for
from
every
How It
occasion may
Stacks
not
here
be
to talk
the
about
official plugin for Amazon.
ProXPN. It is
Some
a
products are available
private
in all areas.
VPN, which basically means it is going to mask your IP address, protecting your data. So if you're out on the interwebs doing things you might not need to be doing, or if you're banking online overseas, it will help mask your data and keep it completely private. And you can do this for only $6.25 a month regularly, or you can use Geek20 for 20% off. So it's a pretty stellar deal, guys. And I'm just going to be honest, with all of the stuff that we've had going on, it's a good idea to invest in something like ProXPN.com. So I am JD, and I approve this message.
Hi, this is JD. You know me from How It Stacks and other popular things that haven't quite caught on yet. But something that has caught on, that would be ThinkGeek. And everybody loves ThinkGeek because you can get tubes, Daleks, sonic screwdrivers. Hell, I'm drinking a screwdriver now, but only because, I love ThinkGeek. And you can get all of those things except for, a screwdriver at geek-io.net/ThinkGeek. And once again, I'm JD from How It Stacks and other things. I got bad news for you. Your t-shirt sucks. You should take it off and buy a new one. And the best place to buy a new t-shirt is www.geek-io.net/TFury, because I can have a t-shirt, you can have a t-shirt, but you better not get it from anywhere else but T-Fury. I am JD. And
You finally found the most generic live show. It's a generic live show with Dale Campbell. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday with Dale Campbell. It's good to be here. Leonard Cohen, tragically, passed away this week. He can't say what he passed away from. I think it doesn't say what he passed away from. Yeah, it doesn't say what he passed away from, but died at the age of 22. This is him. You want to pause that, Dale? You want to introduce your clip first. So this is how podcasting works. So passed away on Monday in Los Angeles of 82. His performed his last show in Auckland in December of 2013. Footage from that example has surfaced after the encore signature hat and takes a final bow. He's known as a tireless performer, touring internationally since 1970s while recording many albums, writing novels, and poetry. Footage recently surfaced at Polling Place. I'm going to play this. It's 30 seconds long, so if I talk over it, we're going to get done for copyright. And that's him taking off the hat and bowing there. The final moments of the performance were likely the Canadian singer who perhaps best known his work for 1984's Hallelujah. Looking somewhat frail, he closed the set with an encore featuring 1974's I Tried to Love You and a cover of The Drifters' Save the Last Dance for Me. Leonard humbly addressed the crowd. Quote, "Friends, I want to thank you for the wonderful hospitality you've shown us tonight." It's definitely not audio. Oh, that is audio. Okay. Fans gather to light candles at Cairns Home in Montreal. Oh, paying tribute. That's just audio there. I thought that was something to do with the police, to be completely honest. Looking at that, there's some wonderful photos. I want to say thank you, not just for tonight, but for all the years you paid attention to my songs. I really appreciate it, unquote. When the last song finished, the legendary musician waved his signature fedora hat, took a bow, and walked off stage as his band could be Leonard's swan song. He did not perform again prior to his death. In September 2014, 9 months later, statement say there'll be no more tours in the foreseeable future. Just days before passing earlier this week, the Quebec-born singer confessed he was ready to die and had made preparations for his death. A statement on Facebook from record label Sony Music Canada: "The world was lost without one of music's most revered and prolific visionaries." That's sad. Sad that we've lost yet another awesome person in 2016. There's too much of that going around these days of just and New Zealand being the last performances going on. And of course, Kate McKinnon, of course, ruined it by paying tribute to him on Saturday Night Live. So, of course, she had to get her mitts all over it and ruin it as well. I'm not doing. I will do that when I come back from my break. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday, we're finally going to get to this story. We're getting to this story. But Australia did something weird with the US, and we're here to break it down for you as we continue here on the Generic Live Show. Thanks for joining us. It's 11:30.
Hey you, yes you, fine listener of this program, you can help us become more than what we already are. I know, it's a revolution. Hold on to your butts because I'm about to give you a URL address that could change our lives.
it would help us out tremendously if you went over to geek-io.net/support, so we could do a lot more than what we're actually doing now. That website actually has on it where you can help us out monthly through Patreon at our Patreon site at patreon.com/geekio, or you can help us out once off by supporting those who support us. But then you can become the ones who support us, who support you, who support us. To continue this support section, it's in your hands. Go to geek-io.net/support to keep this ever-long cycle of support.
Over at patreon.com/geekio. A small monthly donation for as little as $1 a month. Do you know anything that you can buy for $1 a month? I don't. That's $1 a month. When there's no terms, there's no conditions. $1 per month to help us out to unlock some really, really cool goals. A goal that I personally want to help unlock is the weekly Mana Pool show. Weekly playthrough of D&D 5th edition. It would be really cool if we could do that weekly. And you can help that happen with as little as $1 per month. That's right, $1. $1. There's nothing you can buy with $1 these days. $1 a month would help us out tremendously. Just head on over to patreon.com/geekio to help us out. We thank you, the listeners, for your support and keeping the lights on here at the show.
Hello, dear listener. Here at Geek.io, we're always happy to give some support to the little person. So today I'd like to let you know about a small internet startup called Amazon.com. Go to geek-io.net/Amazon to check out their large catalogs of books and magazines. I believe they may have some other items for sale too, records and videotapes perhaps. Using geek-io.net/Amazon lets them know you discovered them through us and they'll throw a few pennies our way. Thank you.
This knife has a straight edge on it, so it's very easy. Maybe in our world here, there lives a happy
Whether we're waking you up or putting you to sleep, this is the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell for a Sunday. Now, I'm getting into this story because I've been promising it for an hour and a half now. I need to get to it. So, the US and Australia have made ties with the US about a refugee resettlement deal. Now, sound peculiar? That's because it is now. The agreement is with the that. Thank you. It is literally states not want you to play because I didn't ask you to talk yet. So. Here to break it down, here is what's happening. So in a one-off deal, the United States has agreed to take a resettlement referrals for refugees residing in Nauru and Naras Island offshore detention facilities. The opportunity is available for those who have already arrived there and will not be offered to those who attain refugee status or come in the future. People who have made that available in those two places, which I'm fairly sure I'm saying incorrectly, but not intentionally, is in Australian terms. What we don't know is the number of refugees that will be taking place, or it's not known the arrangement for the families that are currently being split with members in Australia and in detention. We do not know the incoming administration of President-elect Donald Trump, who will take office in January, could respond to the deal. The timeline to the process is unknown. whether or not Mr. Trump would be too late to abolish it. Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull said US officials will begin vetting applications in the coming days, and that, quote, we deal with one administration at a time, unquote. So here is Mr. Turnbull kind of breaking down this New Deal.
The agreement is with the United States. It is a one-off agreement. It will not be repeated. It is only available to those currently in the regional processing centres. It will not be available to any persons who seek to reach Australia in the future. Our priority is the resettlement of women, children and families. This will be an orderly process. It will take time. It will not be rushed. It will be administered with the UN High Commission on Refugees, and will continue to engage with the UNHCR on its implementation. I want to thank the United States for their cooperation. We have a long history of cooperation in which our two nations pursue our mutual and respective humanitarian objectives. Now, we anticipate that people smugglers will seek to use this agreement as a marketing opportunity to tempt vulnerable people onto these perilous sea journeys. And in long anticipation and preparation for this, we have put in place the largest and most capable maritime surveillance and response fleet Australia has ever deployed. Any people smuggling boats that attempt to reach Australia will be intercepted and turned back.
I want to confirm, though, that there are other aspects to the announcement that we made today. One is that we are in final stages of negotiation with Nauru for a 20-year visa. People who are offered a settlement arrangement in the United States and refuse to take that arrangement. So this deal only applies to people who are on Nauru at the moment, prioritising women and children and family units, and with the prospect of providing assistance to others on Nauru and Manus, and including those 370 odd people who have come from Nauru or Manus and are receiving medical attention in Australia at the moment, with the intent of sending those people back to an RPC. That is the only application of this policy, and the announcement today will never ever apply to any prospective arrivals. And let me make that very clear, and I will be making that very clear in the days to come.
That is Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull and Immigration Minister Peter Dutton. Now, this is confused. This has created some confusion amongst certain people, but we want to continue breaking this down, because this is a deal that I don't understand. This is probably one of the deals that I really don't understand. It's baffling to me. So here we will continue breaking this down. So how have the Labor and the Greens responded? Well, opposition leader Bill Shorten expressed in principle support and wanting the opportunity to get people out of detention. Responses of the Greens were mixed, while leader Richard Nati welcomed any initiative getting people out of detention, but criticising the lack of information. Immigration spokesperson Mick Kim said refugees should be welcomed in Australia and families should be reunited. That's a good point too. So, by the way, does this need to pass Parliament? This is probably the biggest problem I have with this deal. This does not have to go through Parliament at all. So this is essentially an overreach in terms of Malcolm Turnbull and Peter Dutton enacting this deal with the United States. This does to go through Parliament at all, which I thought the job of the Parliament was to kind of help craft these deals as well. That's what I thought that had to happen, but I guess not. So who wins and who loses in these deals? So women, children, and families with refugee status on Nauru and detention centres will be prioritised, while single men on Mars Island will come after. Asylum seekers who are not granted refugee status will not be offered resettlement in the US, and are still being encouraged to return home. If they don't, and they remain on Nauru, and or can go to Cambodia under a previously announced arrangement that has been barely used. Okay, around 370 detainees currently in Australia for medical care included in the arrangement. If they have been determined genuine refugees, as a number of refugees take place being offered in the US is unknown, there are some genuine refugees who are forced to wait for another option. What happens to those people who decline the opportunity or are refused entry to the US? Well, refugees who decline being offered a 20-year visa remain on the tiny island of Nauru. Simple as that. The US government could reject some refugees because it has a more rigorous security clearance process in other countries, including Australia. The right possibility that they would be settled in other countries, including Canada, Malaysia, Philippines, and New Zealand. So this deal spreads further than just the Australian and US. But how do we get here? So the government has long sought to relocate 1,800 people. Most of them are right under the Gillard-run governments. The Papua New Guinea Supreme Court recently ruled the detention centre on Manus Island must close, which increased the urgency for plans to find resettlement options. Very few refugees have taken up offer of resettlement arrangements made with Cambodia and Papua New Guinea. So why do we need to move these people? So detainees have suffered severe mental health problems and various international bodies, including the United Nations, have criticized the conditions and determined solutions found. One person has died of self-immunization, and there are regular suicide attempts. There are multiple deaths, including a 23-year-old Iranian who was murdered on Manus Island. There have been many allegations of physical and sexual abuse, and Amnesty International said the offshore processing regime deliberately harmed detainees and amounts to torture. Now, so here's the thing. Now, this deal, it literally came out of nowhere. So I want to say this deal again. Yeah, this deal came out of nowhere. It was drafted and released in a day. Ironically enough, on a Thursday. What happened this week around Wednesday, Thursday? I would have no idea. So that is me trying to make a joke and failing miserably. So that is where I am today. That's where I am this week. I'll be better next week. It's next week, so of course I'll be better next week. So it's not my birthday next Sunday. I should mention that it's my birthday at some point next week. So this deal was announced on, I think it was on Thursday. If it wasn't Thursday, it was definitely Friday. It was before the end of the working week anyway. So deal comes out of nowhere. Deal comes out as soon as President-elect Trump gets elected. I was about to say the title of President-elect, but no, that's accurate. That's actually accurate. I want to say this. The Prime Minister goes, oh, well, we better get this through. The fact that it doesn't have to get through Parliament is a little overreach to me. Now, whether this needs to or not is another story. I believe this needs to. I mean, it's an international deal. That will affect talented people, and having it go through Parliament would draft it out and make sure there's no kinks in it, and there's no kind of anything being missed. The Parliament's there to vote on things like this, to make sure that everything is smooth. If it gets rejected, redraft the deal, and then try and negotiate with the Parliament. And same with the US. If things get shut down, redraft it, then kind of go in and then try and get it through. I suppose this doesn't. In saying that though, on the one hand, it's not. What I'm trying to say here, it's not a local domestic issue. It's an international deal. So that would be the two governments as a whole unit, as an entity, with President Obama being at the top of the chain in the US, and the Prime Minister Turnbull, President Obama and Prime Minister Turnbull as the two governments working together on this deal, kind of not having to deal with the local government. But again, these things need to be passed through the local government just to make sure that there's nothing being missed here. You need to ensure that and it affects people's lives directly. You have to make sure that everything's being ironed out before these deals. Now, what does this mean? What does this mean for people? So, and it's kind of some people get from Border Force, by the way. An official who believed to be from the Australian Border Force who told someone on asylum men that they would get the ticket to the US. There's no asylum ticket. Families left on with just single males. So again, they're second priority. So for those who get the golden ticket, actually, by the way, that is kind of Charlie in the Chocolate Factory kind of mentality there. If you get a golden ticket, you're in. I've got a golden ticket. Anyway, so there's confusion now, said Mr. Sassy, who 3 years ago fled the Taliban from his native province. They told me the first priority is families, and after we will take some of you. I asked them, how many? 100, 200, 300? They said they didn't have any answers. Well, we asked about the time. They said it would take a long time. This morning, everyone was smiling. Now everyone is frustrated, I will quote. Mr. Khan, who said his family were prospected by terrorist standover men in Pakistan, he said he would be happy to go to the United States if he had the opportunity, Trump or no Trump. But that, quote, they didn't have any answers, but they asked questions. So I want to set the record. By the way, these refugees have no idea what is going on politically. And first of all, I envy them. Second of all, they wouldn't care. So many of these people come from war-stricken countries. If you're talking about humane policy, at least, construct all of these answers. And that's why you use your local people first to then go. It's like kind of me handing in a project that I'm going to predict by myself. It's kind of like that, but without having to talk to any of the other group members. The other group members are going, well, what? Huh? Who? What? How did? What? We didn't agree to this. We didn't say yes to this. It's very much the same thing. And again, this deal came from nowhere. This deal didn't exist prior to Wednesday. It now exists now. So, and we'll find out answers, I suppose, coming up here shortly. But again, we need answers and we need details before we release something like this. If you're going to be claiming to be treating these refugees humanely, if you're treating them like numbers, I'm confused. What I'm not confused about, though, is our friends over at Australian Gold and Collectibles. Not confused about them. They want to buy your gold, silver, and collectibles. They're going to be in town. They're coming to the Brothers Leagues Club right now to 105 Anderson Street in Manunda this Tuesday, the 15th of November, from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Please note that they are particular with some of their item choices, but they make a fair and above standard offers on those items, and with immediate settlement, you cannot go wrong. They're a credible business and highly respected, with an ABN and a second-hand dealer number as well for Queensland. That is 3973976. That's 3973976. A trusted name in buying and selling gold, silver, and collectibles. So if you've got some unwanted coins, tokens, banknotes, football, sport, collectibles, and gold, silver bracelets, nuggets, broken bracelets, broken necklaces, single earrings, broken rings, scrap gold, metal, silver, and or maybe just some pieces that you don't wear anymore. Take them down to the Brothers Leagues Club, 99 to 105 Anderson Street, Manunda, this Tuesday, the 15th of November, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and sell them to Australian Gold and Collectibles. If you've got any more questions, you can give them a call at 03 9357 99996 or send them an email, inquiries at hgc.melbourne. That is this Tuesday, 15th of November, 11 till 2 at the Brothers Leagues Club, 99 to 105 Anderson Street, Manila, Cairns. That's Australian Gold and Collectibles. Trusted name in pawning goods. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show, thanks for joining us here on a Sunday. More as we continue. It's 11:53.
Oh, listener, it is with a heavy heart that I come to you with a word of warning. Dark things are on the internet. I know, like me, you thought it was all funny cat pictures and sneezing pandas. But apparently there is also pornography, digital movie downloads and such. And people are accessing them secretly using ProXPN. To make matters worse, they're using our promotion code GEEK20 to save money while doing so. Even the regional sanctity of online services such as Netflix and Hulu are being bypassed in this way. That was not the intention of Geek.io offering you a discount using Geek20 at checkout. So please, only use Geek20 to save 20% at checkout at ProXPN. If you're going to use it, we're always sure to give safe internet while banking is there to let you know about a small internet startup called Amazon.com. Go to geek-io.net/Amazon to check out their large catalogues of books and magazines. I believe they may have some other items for sale too, records and videotapes perhaps. Using geek-io.net/Amazon lets them know you discovered them through us and they'll throw a few pennies our way. Thank you.
This is the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show with Dale Campbell. Coming into our final segment of the show here. Thank goodness, because I don't know how much longer I can talk about Donald Trump winning the election in the United States any bit longer. By the way, I shouldn't say that. That's mean. But it's true, though. You know, it is what it is. And like I said in the first segment of the show, next week I'll be fine. I think it's just the backlash that I think I've had much more of a problem with than ever before. But to finish off the show, I'm going to talk about Amazon, because fun. No, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's talk Black Friday. Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, is a day where, you know, shopping and fun, and not only the shopping, and where you can find some of the best deals on some hot products the day after Thanksgiving. Enjoy Thanksgiving for what it is, but here are some of the hottest deals in town. So exactly, it's held on November 25, exactly a month before Christmas Day. So Amazon has some amazing deals on November 2nd. It launched its Black Friday's deal page. You can sign up to the site's newsletter online to be one of the first to know what the bargains are. It is a selection of deals that involves electronics, toys, pet supplies, jewelry, and more. Geek Amazon. Excuse me. The online retail also do flash sales, so that are unannounced throughout the day. So enjoy that. Tesco, the supermarket chain, slash prices to all time lows on Black Friday on a range of electronics are popular. eBay, if you cannot wait until November 25th, eBay has already launched its Black Friday page, adding daily deals in the run-up to the big day. You can now get 47% off a 43-inch Philips TV on the day, expect reductions on laptops, most wanted toys, smartphones, and tablets. Curries, register your interest online and be alert when the sales begin. Last year's online sales kicked off at 6 a.m. You've got laptops, vacuum cleaners, and TVs. Argos, buy your deals online, choose click and collect. Check it out Friday. Alternatively, you can head down to your local Argos or shop online to get it delivered. John Lewis has some stuff. Boots, Game, retailer Game, currently 50% off that. And of course, Deborah Hams. I think that is more so on clothing. They have currently had 24% off on men's, women, and children's clothing, homeware, and lingerie, plus more than 50% off Christmas decorations, towels, wrapping paper, bedding, and kitchen appliances. Well, that brings us to the end of. That brings us to the end of the broadcast. Thanks everyone for joining us here on a generic live show. That's right. Donald Trump became the president. Donald Trump has become the president-elect of the United States of America. This is certainly going to be 2016 continues to not continues to impress us as news watchers to the nth degree. It really kind of just pulls out some of the best stuff and just kind of grabs us and makes sure that we pays attention. So this means that the biggest stories of 2016 just got a heck of a lot bigger. But that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show, genericliveshow@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show. It's midnight.
This has been a podcast of the TKO Media Network, where you look for TKN and Geek Out. For more details, head over to geekoutsio.net. Copyright 2016.